Hi students, today we will be discussing a new lesson from grade 9. Before we get into that lesson, I would like to ask you a few questions. What is that going to keep you pleasant? Sometimes you have that habit of, while journeying, it is very common. You plug in your earphones. What do? Nowadays, of course, you have got these mobile phones with large screens, you watch movies. But what about the olden days, what people would do? In journeys, if you are journeying in a car, how would you spend your time? Yes, music. So today we are going to come along a lesson named The Sound of Music. And now what is this, the sound of music? Music itself is a sound. But what is the title and what is the essence of the phrase, the word, the sound in this title, The Sound of Music? Right? So it is very important for us to know that music is a sound. Everybody knows music is a sound. But why is this title given as The Sound of Music? Is that because of two magnificent people, exemplary people who have really worked, excelled. Not two, many are there in such. But here in our syllabus, we have taken two people. One is Miss Evelyn Glenn and the other is Mr. Bismillah Khan, who is an Indian. Right? So let's get into the lesson and we'll get to the story. Evelyn Glenn listens to sound without hearing it. What? Isn't it weird for us to say this? Evelyn Glenn listens to the sound without hearing. Evelyn Glenn listens to the sound without hearing it. What do you understand? Can it be done? Listening to something without hearing it? Huh? We know that listening is nothing but a hearing ability. Yes, we do it with our ears. But here it is said listening to a sound without hearing it. How can it be done? Let us see how Glenn does it and what is that very special about this lady. So before you read this lesson, God may have taken her hearing, but He has given her back something extraordinary. What we hear, she feels far more deeply than any of us. That is why she expresses music so beautifully. So you got the answer. How is she able to listen and hearing? Right? How? Because see, the point is that she doesn't hear. She is incapable of hearing. She has got that disability of hearing that she cannot hear. Then how can she listen to music? How can she understand music? Because music is a sound, right? But how is she, that is Evelyn Glenn, able to listen to the music? God gave her one extraordinary ability because He has taken one very simple ability of listening. What is the extraordinary ability that was given to her by God? Is that she can feel it. She can feel that sound in her body. She can feel the sound in her body. Can you feel the sound in your body? To be able to feel the sound in your body, you need to be a rishi. You need to be a great perfectionist. But that ability was given to Evelyn Glenn by God. He says that is why she expresses music so beautifully. It is because she feels the music throughout her body. She has got that ability of playing music so beautifully. Now, read the following account of a person who fought against a physical disability, that is a hearing impaired, and made her life a success story. That is about Evelyn Glenn. So coming to the story, rush hour crowds jostle for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl looking younger than her 17 years was nervous yet excited as she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. What do you see here? You see rush hour crowds. What is this rush hour? The early morning crowds. Generally in the office hours, you can say. Rush hours are those moments in the traffic where people are on the roads or busy in their own work. Generally, rush hours are in the mornings and in the evenings, right? So in that rush hours, that is in the morning time, when crowds jostle, what do you understand by the word jostle? Jostle is nothing but push or bump against roughly, typically in a crowd. Like you jostle, you go into a train, you go into MMTS, you go into a city bus, you go into a metro. How do you go? You just walk in very freely? No, you need to just use your elbows to walk the people, among the people, right, in that crowd. That is what you can see, that the crowded, a very crowded platform for position on the underground train platform. A slight girl, who is a slight is very little, we understand, very sensibly little. Here slight is not sturdy, thin or slender. It is since it is describing a girl here, a thin or slender, very thin girl. Who is that very thin girl? Looking younger than her 17 years. Though she is 17 years, she is looking younger than her original age, was nervous, was not happy. She was nervous, yet she was excited. Why? As she felt the vibrations. What? What is said here? She felt the vibrations. She did not hear the sound, but she felt the vibrations of the approaching train. It was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London. Why? Why was she so excited to listen to that vibrations, to feel the vibrations of the train? See, here on we will be taking the sound as listening to be feeling the vibrations. Right? You need to catch that point, because now we are learning, actually we are trying to get to know about Evelyn Glenn, who has this ability of feeling the vibration but not hearing. Right? Yes. So it was her first day at the prestigious Royal Academy of Music in London, and daunting enough for any teenager fresh from a Scottish farm. So she belongs to Scotland, right? It is daunting. What do you mean by daunting, children, here? Daunting is challenging enough for any teenager who is fresh from a Scottish farm. She's a Scottish girl, and it is kind of very new for her to experience that kind of a situation, going to prestigious Royal Academy of Music. It's really a very well-known, well-renowned organization, Music Academy of Music in London, and she is going there to perform. So she was going there to give her audition. So isn't that a great thing for her? Yes, it is really a moment when everybody would be very excited, nervous, you can understand. But this aspiring musician, what do you mean by aspiring? Directing one's hopes or ambitions towards becoming a specified type of a person. So you are aspiring, you are wanting to become something. Focused musician. Who is that? Evelyn Glenn faced a bigger challenge than most. What was that bigger challenge? Of sound. She was profoundly deaf. What is profoundly? Deeply, completely, not normally, not partially. She was completely deaf. Okay, children, right, in a profound way or in a great way, that she was really very deaf, that she cannot hear sound. Then what happened? Evelyn Glenn's loss of hearing had been gradual. She did not lose her ability of hearing at once. It was gradual. That means very gradually she lost her hearing ability. By years, over years, she lost that hearing ability, that she did not lose it all of a sudden, maybe because of an accident. Sometimes it happens. But it is because of some rare genetical disorder or disease, she had to lose that ability of hearing over the time of period. Her mother remembers noticing something was wrong when the 8-year-old Evelyn was waiting to play the piano. So you can understand, when was it first identified? When Evelyn was 8 years old. By whom? By her mother. Okay, when Evelyn was trying to play the piano. They called her name. They called Evelyn, and she didn't move. I suddenly realized she hadn't heard, says his mother. Says her mother, Isabel Glenn. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to conceal. What do you mean by conceal? To hide. For quite a while, Evelyn managed to hide her disability of hearing, that she was unable to hear. Right? Maybe because of a number of reasons. She was a growing child, and it would be a great difficulty for her, that people would be actually may not be liking it, or maybe mocking at her, maybe, that kind of a thing that has stopped her from revealing it to her parents, right? Her growing deafness from her friends and particularly from her teachers. But then what happened? But by the time she was 11, her marks had deteriorated, and her headmistress urged her parents to take her to a specialist. Though she managed, but by the age she was 11, her marks deteriorated. What do you mean by deteriorated? To become progressively worse. They came down. All her marks she got very less marks. And so immediately headmistress, she immediately begged her parents to take this girl, Evelyn Glenn, to a specialist so that they could get any help from that specialist for Evelyn. It was then discovered that when she was taken to the specialist, it was then discovered that her hearing was severely impaired, that she lost her hearing ability as a result of gradual nerve damage. As a result of what? Gradual nerve damage, she lost her hearing ability. They were advised that she should be fitted with hearing aids and sent to a school for the deaf. So doctor advised them, okay, your daughter is no more going to hear because her nerves are damaged. It is better you put hearing aids, like hearing aids are put in the ears so that you can listen, right? So they were advised to give her that support of hearing aids, and she should be sent to a special kind of a school for deaf children. Everything suddenly looked black. So when it was advised by the doctor, everything looked black. That means she lost hope. She kind of was into a great shock and she lost hope, right? Very disappointed. What do you understand by everything suddenly looked black? That means she was greatly devastated and disappointed. But Evelyn was not going to give up. Was she going to give up? Never. Had she given up, we wouldn't have been reading her story. Yes, children? Yes. She was determined to lead a normal life and pursue her interest in music. What do you mean by pursue? Pursue is to follow or chase her interest in music. She somehow developed her interest into music and she wanted to pursue that music. Isn't it an odd thing for a deaf girl? But did she give up? No. One day she noticed a girl playing a xylophone and decided that she wanted to play it too. So one day what did she notice? She noticed a girl playing xylophone. What is a xylophone? This is what you can see as a xylophone. Right, children? Right. So she decided that she would be playing that too. Most of the teachers discouraged her. When she requested her teachers to help her play xylophone, many of them discouraged. But percussionist, who? But one person. Who is that except that one person? Who is a percussionist? Percussionist is a player of a percussion instrument, especially in an orchestra. Percussion is a musical instrument which creates vibrations like drums and all. Okay? So, that drummer or that percussionist, what is his name? Ron Forbes, spotted her potential. He realized her potential. What is her potential? What do you understand? Potential is the ability that may be developed or lead to success. He could easily identify that Evelyn had got that ability, potential, that power and that energy within herself that was rejuvenating her own self, that she would be focused on her duty. What is that? Getting to learning music. So he began by tuning two large drums to different notes. So how did he first start? He tuned two large drums with two different notes. Don't listen through your ears. Try to sense it some other way, he would say to Evelyn. He would play that different drums, two large drums in a different notes, and he would ask Evelyn to understand, not to try to hear through ears, but would ask her to feel it some other way. What is the other way that she could sense that repercussions?